hang out later, or you or? All right. Welcome. Monday night. Bring it. It is time once again for the number one show on the ASAP network. Well, I think it's the number one show.
I concur.
That's good to know. Yeah, we got Felix in the house. What's up, Felix?
Phillies are down again.
Yeah, well, you're in second place. It's okay. And we got Andrew representing the fourth place playoff bound New York Knicks tonight. Look at that. What number are you wearing tonight?
I'm not showing you.
It better not be John Starks. That's all I have to say.
Starks? Allen Houston? Oh, 7.
No, 7.
Who was
the last time they were relevant?
7. Who was Kenny Walker?
Carmelo.
Oh, that's Melo's old number, right? That's Melo's old number. Oh, man. Wow. I totally forgot that. Cool. Well, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We are going to talk a lot of baseball tonight. Baseball's getting into it. We'll talk some basketball in a bit. But one of the huge stories in baseball this week were the 2 no-hitters in 1 week. There's been 4 no-hitters. Well, technically 5 if you consider Madison Bumgarner's 7-inning no-hitter and no-hitter. But so let's just say 5 for argument's sake. 5 no-hitters in the first month of the season. Felix, what do you think that means?
I think it's still cold out. You know what they say, when it gets hot, they're going to start hitting the ball more. That's when the balls go flying. So right now, what's it, May 10th right now?
Yeah.
Where I'm at, it's about 55 degrees. So it's still a little cold. Once it starts heating up, I don't think we're going to see that many no-hitters. But, hey, I mean, what Baumgartner did, I didn't think he could do that ever,
Yeah.
Did he do that when he was with the Giants?
I don't know.
I don't know
if he had a no-hitter. I mean, he was so dominant in that year they won the World Series. You remember that?
You had to bring it up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I think he just earned himself a couple more years. I mean, he's on the last year of a deal, so he probably banked another 60 million, 80 million just because of that.
Not a bad way to live.
Yeah.
Andrew, what do you think about the no-hitters so far? 5 in the first month.
I read the record's 8 in a year. So, the question, as amazing as 5 in a month is, let's see if we're going to break our record of all time no-hitters in a season. That would be something. What's also been real interesting to me about these no-hitters is that they're coming from guys who you wouldn't necessarily expect them to be coming from. You had John Means. I just read today he had almost given up on baseball a few years ago. He had put out a LinkedIn profile, created a LinkedIn profile looking for regular work. He thought his baseball career was done.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's the names that have been throwing them. Although ever since he threw it, Carlos Rodon has become maybe the second best pitcher in baseball right now.
Right.
Behind DeGrom. And now with DeGrom's injury, maybe he'll pass him in the rankings. But they've all kind of came out of nowhere. And it's been added a lot of excitement. And I wonder if it has anything to do with these new baseballs that they're playing with.
That's an interesting thought. It could be. I mean, they say in general that, the pitching does progress a little faster than the hitting sometimes coming out of spring training. But as Felix said, the weather. But, I mean, there's been some really high scoring games. But if you look at where the high scoring games were, like out in LA the other day, it was like 14-11. So it seems to be the warmer climates are getting more runs scored right now. So, that could be a valid point with the cold weather, Felix.
Yeah, I feel bad for whoever took that under. Just give up at that point. Just give up.
Exactly.
Hang them up. Just put it back in your pocket. That's
right. By the way, everybody, we're gonna have score updates from our producer Nate, giving us baseball score updates, so we'll know what's going on today. There's only 5 baseball games, so we'll be getting a little ticker happening with that, everybody.
So now between Wade Miley and this 7-1 lead, the Reds are the hottest team.
Right, exactly. Exactly. But now, does this take the novelty away from no-hitters? Everyone was like, oh, a no-hitter is such a big deal. People are like, wow, a no-hitter. And you tune in because you get these updates on your phone. There's a possible no-hitter, and everyone tunes into it. But because there's been so many, I mean, is it just like, all right, whatever? I mean,
I've just been like, again?
Yeah.
By the time Miley had, not even Miley, who had the one before Miley? Was it the guy in San Diego? No, Means had his.
Means had his Wednesday. Right.
So when I saw Means, I was like, again? And then when Miley had his, I was like, seriously? Like, what's going on here? This is just weird. I've never experienced anything like this. But when's the last time we've seen a perfect game?
Right, exactly. And we almost saw one Wednesday.
Right. So that's still out there. What I think is the most interesting thing about no-hitters now, though, is that I actually didn't think we'd see this many at all throughout the season because managers are not going with their starters the full 9. They're pulling these guys by the 5th or 6th inning no matter what. And even if they have no-hitters, guys are being pulled.
Right.
So that's been a surprise to me that we haven't even seen this many.
No, it's true. And for guys to go this long, this early in the season, is definitely a big thing. I mean, you don't know. You don't know. Every manager's got their different theories, but I think you get to that point around the 7th inning or 8th inning where you're like, wow, this guy's got it, and they leave. But you never notice as soon as the no-hitter's over, they take him right out. So
wasn't it Verlander last year who had a no-hitter going through 8 and was pulled, and then the Astros blew the game?
Yeah. I think that was.
I'm pretty sure that happened last year. That Verlander had a no-hitter going through 8 innings, and they pulled him, and then they lost the game.
That would but then look, Verlander's had Tommy John surgery. So what does that tell you? So he's out now. That type of thing.
So I gotta ask you, you're rocking the hat. How serious does this set back the New York Mets with DeGrom going down?
Well, that does transition us into the next segment, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. The DeGrom thing, basically the report was that he had tightness on his side. The MRI came out negative. There's no, structural damage. It's just soreness and tightness, so they're going to let him rest for 10 days. Probably have some physical therapy, who knows, and, try again in 10 days. But, I mean, as Felix and I were talking about before the show, he's the franchise. You can't mess with the franchise. You just can't do it. I mean, Felix, from years of being a Phillies fan, how they probably mess with pitchers that could have been better and then injuries and all that stuff.
From Schilling to Cliff to Roy to oh my God! But I'll tell you what, man, you gotta give him a blank check.
Yes.
Say whatever you want at the end of. Is this his last year, or he's got another year after this?
I think he's got one more, but they'll probably want to re-sign him early.
Give him a blank check, whatever you want.
He'll be the highest paid pitcher in history,
without a doubt. I'm pretty sure the Yankees. I mean, if they didn't sign Cole, they would probably be right there trying to get him. But who knows?
Yeah. I mean, and then when DeGrom's agent goes to the Mets and say, "Look what the Yankees paid Cole, and look what my client's done since Cole was signed by the Yankees." It's just the leverage right there.
I mean, think about it. Chris Sale's almost done.
Yeah.
So, and Boston might be right there too.
No, he might. That's going to be interesting. I think the biggest factor in the DeGrom contract is going to be the lack of run support he gets sometimes. And if he keeps on getting run support, if he has another, say, 10-6 or 11-7 kind of season where they're blowing leads or not scoring enough runs, even though his ERA might be below 2, he's going to be like, why should I sit around here? You guys aren't getting me the run support. Yeah, I won. He should be winning 20 games a year every year with the way he throws the ball, his ERA, and he has it. Yeah, he's got 2 Cy Youngs, but still, he needs that run support.
It's not like the Mets aren't trying though. They just got Lindor. They got the polar bear.
He's been somewhat disappointing though. He's not playing like the polar bear from his rookie year.
Well, that's true, but it's not. But from a Mets standpoint, they're putting pieces in place.
Right.
They can't tell him, "Oh, we need you to go hit a home run." Productivity is going to come throughout the whole year, but there's only so much money they could throw out there. You got to hit on draft picks, on prospects, and everything else.
Right.
You can't just buy a championship.
Lindor's been a bust by all standpoints so far. He's batting 194 with 2 home runs.
Yeah, but this weekend he finally broke out a little bit. So hopefully he's breaking out. But it's typical Mets. They sign a high-priced free agent, and he comes out and he does nothing for the first couple of months. It's just the way it always goes with the Mets. It's typical.
Listen, it happens with the Yankees too.
If you think about it, he came from Cleveland. When you're playing in New York, the spotlight's on you, and you might get a little starstruck in the beginning. That's just the way it is.
Well, look what happened with Curtis. Remember Curtis Granderson?
Oh yeah.
That's a perfect example of when he came to the Yankees from Detroit. That's the perfect example right there.
Another example of the opposite is your boy Zach Wheeler. Now Wheeler pitched the lights out the other night. He threw maybe one game like that for the Mets. Oh, you guys stole him from us. So I wish we had him back.
But to be honest with you, we didn't offer him the most money. Chicago offered him the most money, and he came to us.
Yeah,
his wife's from Jersey. So hey, I appreciate it. I'm happy he's here. I remember the day when you guys got him from the Giants for Beltran.
Right.
And you guys had him for what, 5-6 years before?
Yeah.
During that span.
Well, that was under the old management. They had no idea what to do with him, and then he had injury problems, and then they decided to give up, and it was a shame because he's pitching. To me, it's like it's Nola and him right now for you guys.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, the thing is with Nola, he's good for a good 6-7 innings. He's good.
But that's what you need him for. That's what you.
Well, no. The Phillies need a 9-inning guy now because our bullpen sucks.
The bullpen is causing problems. But I'm saying, in general, as a starter, they need to fix. Well, they got a great starter. They need to fix their middle relief.
Correct, but being a Phillies fan, we need a 9-inning guy right now because we can't have any bullpen arms out there right now.
No,
I had Neris on my fantasy team last year.
Oh man,
he just killed me.
Get rid of him.
I was last year. I got rid of it. He just killed me.
Listen, man. We until Archie Bradley comes back. I'm scared. We had a 7-4 lead, and we blew it. Oh my God. So, we're going to have to find another lights out Lidge or someone like that, until we can get this bullpen thing figured out.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I was trying to get here. Wait, I'm trying to get the standings up here because I want to talk about the whole NL East right now, or as we can call it, the NL East, because is that it? Is that the screen? No, that's not the screen. I'll figure it out. Anyway, the point is that, between first and last place is only 3.5 games right now in the NL East. And I remember in the beginning of the year, we were talking about, they're going to win 90, 91, 92. At this point, it could be the first team to be a 1 game over 500 to win this division. It is that close. And, all the teams have injury issues. They've all got their problems, and it's just going to be, it's going to come down. I don't think anyone's going to pull away with this division. What do you guys think,
I agree. Now that DeGrom's down, we don't know how long. Marlins took a hit over the last couple of weeks. They were looking hot. They've cooled off. I'm curious to see what happens with Washington when they're back to full strength. But yeah, this thing is up for grabs. Should be the Mets, but could be Atlanta. They can come. They still have this top 3 baseball player in the league. So
Yeah.
it's literally it's a coin flip. We can make an argument for any one of these teams. I mean, the Marlins could get hot again. They've been a little short-handed as well. Chisholm's been down, and he's been one of their spark plugs.
Exactly. I mean, and because of canceled games in the beginning of the year, the standings are uneven right now. If we look at the standings, I mean, I know Acuna got hurt over the weekend, so now the Braves got a little issue coming up. So, I mean, all these teams are going to play each other 19 times during the year, so it's just gonna go back and forth and up and down. So, I mean, we could be in first today and then in third tomorrow. I mean, who knows? It's gonna be crazy.
Nationals still have Scherzer, they still have Soto, but I mean, Soto's got to come back, but
Right.
they're still scary. They're not playing healthy right now.
I know, and watch out for with Washington. Watch out for Josh Bell. Something tells me Josh Bell is going to get hot for them. I don't know why.
Oh, I think Pittsburgh fans have still been waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is very true.
Man.
And it's interesting because I mean, it's like and we're all Northeast guys, so obviously we have an East Coast bias, and that's okay, but it's like we're so used to like these competitive divisions, but nothing this tight. I mean, this is just it's almost nerve-wracking as a fan, just to watch.
It's crazy games that you would think you would win because you might the other day Nola started. I'm like, oh yeah, look who he's going up against. We got this, and then he loses. It's so crazy. It's like it's like putting square pegs in a round hole. Like you think that this team would win, and then the opposite happens. It's so crazy. Every team has each other's weakness, if that makes any sense. It's like rock, paper, scissors between each team.
Right.
Oh, we could beat them like this, but they can't beat us because we have him and this and that. It's crazy, and it's going to come down to I'm going to say 2-3 games, and at the end of the year, and it's going to come down to 3-man rotation. Who has the best 3-man rotation to get in?
Exactly.
And, I mean, the Braves are good. If DeGrom's good, the Mets are good. The Nats are obviously good. I'm hoping Wheeler and Nola are good.
Right.
So it's going to be crazy. And the worst thing, and what I think is going to happen is every team's going to burn each other out, and the champion won't come out of the NL East.
I mean, unfortunately, that might be right. And you were saying, top starters, playoffs. Philly's got at least top 2. The Mets have at least 2. Washington's got 2. The Marlins arms, and who knows with the Marlins arms, and who am I forgetting? Atlanta's got good pitching, but they've been inconsistent all year. So it's really hard to tell.
The Marlins' biggest problem right now are the bats. Sandy Alcantara has been phenomenal every time he goes out, but he can't pick up wins because he's not getting run support. He is. If you look at his lines, his ERA is phenomenal. His strikeouts, he's getting 7-8 strikeouts a game. I think he has 1 win on the year. They're just not. They're not hitting right now.
I mean, to be honest with you, the Mets are just going to sell anyway. They're going to trade and get more prospects. That's what they do. They'll trade them out west, probably to the Giants or something like that, and they'll probably fall off. But the other teams, that's where it becomes a question mark. Who's ready to move to the next step? And to be honest, I don't think the Phillies are. We need Rhys Hoskins is killing us right now. He's killing us. He can only play 7 innings, and he's a first baseman.
Yeah.
I was never a fan. I was never a fan.
I mean, he has hot streaks, and he has really cold streaks. He's one of these players that when he's hot, and when he's cold, he's ice cold. And they're talking about putting Alec Boehm at first and trading Odubel for a third baseman. But
wow,
who the hell wants Odubel? I mean, hey, but it is what it is. Kingery's killing us. I mean, he was supposed to be the future. And now we're looking at it like look, we got rid of Cole Irvin earlier in the year, one of our prospects. He's killing it in Oakland. Last year we traded Nick Pivetta to Boston for a bag of peanuts. He's killing it in Boston. So I think it's player evaluation, player management, something has to change. Because if we had Pivetta, hey, he might be the bullpen relief we need. Same thing with Cole Irvin.
No, true.
So that's where the Phillies stand.
So let me ask you, Felix. Do you think that Girardi is completely mismanaging the bullpen, and that's the reason the bullpen is so bad?
No, it's the lack of talent. I mean, don't get me wrong. We got that guy from the Yankees a couple years ago. I forget his name. It starts with an H, and he can't pitch for a lick. I mean, he's just on the team because Girardi managed the Yankees at a certain point. Mm-hmm. But look, Hector Edneris, he's done. He's fried. We have to wait for Archie Bradley. That's it. I mean, I don't know what else unless we trade for bullpen arms. But every team's in it right now. So who wants to trade a good arm?
Right, exactly. No one's going to trade a good arm, exactly. And, it's funny. I kind of wanted to make like a hot take prediction on the NL East tonight, but I think we're going to pass on that still. Because as we're talking, I'm realizing it's just too close to call. There's no way to call it, Yeah. I mean, we could probably say, as the Marlins will probably end up, at the bottom because of just the youth and the inconsistency. But, and in a shortened season, as they proved last year, yeah. But in a long season, I don't think they have what they need for the long haul for sure. Let's move over to the AL East. The AL East, to me, is the surprise because I remember at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, we were all talking about, Boston's not going to do anything. Meanwhile, Boston's in first, dominating the division. The Yankees have slowly creeped up, the Blue Jays are underachieving because of injuries. And, then they and the Red Sox beat up on the Orioles in the beginning of the year. So that's why Baltimore's in last place. So, Andrew, is the Red Sox success because of the schedule, or is it because, they've got their old manager back, they're back in that system that they're able to win?
I don't know. Who said the Red Sox weren't going to do anything? Because that should have never been said. The Red Sox, in my opinion, have probably one of the best rosters in the AL East. Rafael Devers is top 5 third baseman in the league right now, maybe top 3.
Mm-hmm.
You have Bogarts, one of the top shortstops in the league. JD Martinez is playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, he's leading the league in homers and RBIs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Still have Sale. Eovaldi's been playing decent. Obviously, we spoke about the management a couple weeks ago. I think that they're the best team in the American League East.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we haven't seen what the Blue Jays could be like at full strength. They got Springer back for about 3 games. He actually was good in 2 out of those 3 games.
Right.
But he's injured. He's back on the injured list. So we haven't seen what the Blue Jays could be like, and that's who we put a lot of our emphasis in on our preview show. But right now, the Red Sox have the best team in the AL East.
Yeah, I think it was on the baseball show we were talking about how the Red Sox were not going to do anything, and I guess on this show. I think Felix and I on the baseball show we were talking about that. So because I thought Benintendi was a huge loss for them, and well, I guess they've been making up for it,
Listen, he was a big loss, but this team is stacked. I'm looking at their roster right now. It starts with, like I said, they have Martinez, Sale, they have Hunter Renfroe was a nice pickup, the veteran. Bogarts, all-star shortstop. Rafael Devers, like I said, top 3 third baseman, offensively and defensively. Eduardo Rodriguez is a phenomenal pitcher coming off the big injury last year. Finally is settling in. They have a great team and they have great management. And you look at the rest of the AL East, Yankees are finally turning it around, but their injuries always catch up to them. Blue Jays have not been healthy. The Orioles are not going anywhere. It always ends up coming down to the Rays.
But did you see this happening before the year?
I saw the Red Sox being good.
No, that's what I'm saying. I
saw
the Yankees are head and shoulders better than them.
Right.
I saw the Red Sox being good though. I saw the Red Sox.
I saw them third. I saw them third in the AL.
So you have Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox?
No, he had Yankees.
Yankees, Rays, Red Sox.
Okay, so you didn't even have Blue Jays top 3.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
No. And it's funny because Tampa's quietly in third, just lurking like they always do.
They're always quietly they're always and they always beat the Red Sox too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know.
That's why the Phillies won the World Series. I'm not scared to admit it. Hey, if it was Phillies Red Sox, it would be tough. I don't know if we would pull that through, but the Rays pulled it through, and Phillies won 08.
So we can thank the Rays for your championship in the Dodgers last year, right?
No, I want to personally thank Evan Longoria for going like .88 batting average.
Yeah, he did nothing that series. Wow.
He did absolutely nothing. Thank you.
Oh, that is too funny. Yeah, it's an interesting division. Again, the Yankees are so inconsistent. I mean, they had a decent weekend against Washington, 2 walk-off wins, which proves that Washington's bullpen is poor at best, because Washington had good starting pitching. I mean, Scherzer pitched lights out over the weekend, and then the bullpen couldn't hold it. But again, as we talk about the Yankees, it's all about them staying healthy. I mean, I know Stanton's starting to hit the ball now, which is, about time for what they paid him for. But, the Yankees still have holes in their lineup. If you look, there's some big holes there.
The weather is getting warmer. So wait for Judge, wait for Stanton. The home runs will start popping.
Yeah, but wait for the injuries too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, listen. It's every team's bound to have injuries, regardless.
Yeah, but the Yankees are prone. Yankees are injury prone.
Every team's prone. Look at Kershaw. Everyone thought he was weak, and then he came through last year in a 60-game season.
Right.
But listen, every team's going to get hurt. That's just the way it is.
Well, we got to talk about the Dodgers. We got to talk about the Dodgers right now because they are falling apart at the season.
Yes.
Literally at the pitching seams.
Yeah. And I remember we were talking about their win-loss total, and we were like, bet the under. And everyone's like, oh, I'll take the over. Well, I'm glad we took the under now. That's for sure. There's no way they're winning 103 games right now.
They'll be 2-8 in their last 10.
Yeah, they'll be lucky if they get to 90 at this point. Yeah, their pitching staff. I mean, but if you think about it, for Dustin May to get hurt and then to have, Price as your backup, I mean, it's not too bad on paper, obviously. But, the bottom line is, the Dodgers are definitely sinking, and no one's talking about the Giants. The Giants are in first place. Everyone's talking about it. Yeah. They're killing it very quietly. Not a lot of superstars on that team, very quietly killing it. The NL West is going to come down. We all thought it'd be a 2-team race. It's not going to be a 3-team race. That's why I didn't get excited about the Mets sweep this weekend. Yeah, I'm happy they swept, but I'm like, we beat Arizona. We're supposed to beat Arizona. If we don't beat Arizona, then we got a problem. So I wasn't that excited about it. It's going to be interesting. Baseball in general is interesting. It's still early enough, but there are definitely some teams that are showing. They've got what it takes. There are definitely teams that are showing, we got nothing in the tank, like Detroit and Pittsburgh and everything. All right. What was that?
I banged my water glass.
Okay. Oh, did something break?
A toast? Is that a toast?
Yes. So social. No, anyway, type of thing. But yeah, it's going to be interesting in general. I'm definitely excited for it. But I'm even more excited for the NBA playoffs, which start in a week. The play-in tournament, which LeBron said is a bunch of BS. But he was for it last year.
Yeah,
of course he was for it.
It's a bunch of BS now because he's one loss away from not being in the playoffs.
Well, LeBron, you're gonna be in the play-in tournament if you ask me. I mean, last night's win was just a little fluky. So Phoenix was just tired last night. They're a little fluky. Lot of amazing stuff happened in the NBA. We're going to talk about the Knicks in a minute, but I want to talk about the Lakers first. So, yeah, they went out and won last night. But the bottom line is, everyone's saying, oh, when the Lakers get healthy, they're going to be able to step on the gas and do this. I say no. Felix, you're shaking your head no, too.
They need to get back on chemistry. I mean, when did LeBron get hurt? What was that? November?
About a month ago.
It feels like December. I think it was at least a month ago, if not.
It was about a month ago. It was right. It might have been right at the end of March.
So, and listen, that type of injury you don't just come back from. It's a gradual process. So he could be back. It doesn't mean that they're going to do anything.
Remember when Freddie said they were resting him on purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Resting him to what? To lose in the game tournament? So listen, the West is too good right now. My prediction is if they do make it, they'll be the 8th seed and they'll play the Jazz. And I don't even know if they could play with the Jazz right now.
Right now, listen, I don't know how this whole play-in is going to work out as far as the matchups. I'm assuming 7-10 play and then 8-9.
No, it's the way. Excuse me. The way the play-in is going to work is this: 7 plays 8. The winner gets the 7 seed. 9 plays 10. Winner plays the loser of the 7-8 game for the 8th seed.
Watch that happen.
So the 8th seed gets 2. The 8th seed has 2 chances.
You have to essentially win. If you're the 9 or 10, you have to win 2 games to get in. If you're the 7 or 8, you get a second chance if you lose.
Okay, so the Lakers are should get number 8, but I was gonna say the Warriors could beat the Lakers.
Oh, definitely.
Listen. Whoever gets the 8th seed is going to be burnt out.
Right.
They're going to be burned out, and then they have to go play the number 1 seed.
Well, what's the status of Davis?
What?
What's the status of Anthony Davis?
He played last night. He had like 41 last night.
Also, if he's back at full strength and they get LeBron back, Davis is going to give Gobert a run for his money. And anything can happen with that matchup.
Okay, but Donovan Mitchell, who's going to stop him?
Listen, I'm just saying that it's going to be a better. It's not going to be a sweep. It's one of those matchups where anything can happen. It's like in '98 when the Knicks played the Heat and they knocked out the Heat as an 8th seed. The Jazz aren't that great.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're going to be burnt out from playing all the the tournament games. So, listen, LeBron's not going to come back 100%. AD played like that because he had to last night to stay in. They moved up to 6th, right?
No, they're 7.
No, they're still in 7. They're still 7.
Oh, they're still in 7th? All right,
yeah.
So they better hit the gas soon because
I don't think they're going to catch Portland. Portland's just too good.
Yeah, well, Portland, they've been good for a while. But, again, this isn't the Lakers' year. They won last year. Good for them. LeBron had kept them all on schedule in the bubble. This year, hey, listen, it's a step back.
I think the Suns are the best. I think the Suns or the Nuggets are the best team in the West right now.
I like the Nuggets. I think the Suns are frauds.
You can't say that in second place when they're 48-20. You can't say that.
Listen. They're a good team, but in my lifetime, every time they made the playoffs, they fell apart. They had Steve Nash. They fell apart. I get it. Chris Paul is good. I get it. He's been good on every team he's played on. Booker is the real deal. Ayton, okay, he's okay. I'm not saying he's a beast. He's not Julius Randle. He's not Joel Embiid. But he's all right. He's good for a double-double here and there. But I don't think he can compete with the rest of the West.
So, okay, so let's break down the center position because in the West it's Jokic.
Yeah.
Who's the probably would you I know you're biased as a Sixers fan, but would you take
No. Jokic deserves the MVP, hands down. Okay. He does.
See, I disagree. I think Chris Paul deserves the MVP.
No way.
Because but you got a team with Phoenix who hasn't made the playoffs since 2010. You get one player in there and they become the 1 or the 2 seed. I mean, you got to look at it that way.
Julius Randle deserves it more than Chris Paul.
Well, yeah, but Randall's not going to get it. I think Paul will get more votes than Randall. I think the press wants Jokic to get it.
Yeah, and Jokic will get it because the press votes. So
right.
I think the number was minus 350 for him to get it. So Jokic? I'm pretty sure it's
Jokic is going to get it. I think Jokic is, I've said this week after week, is the best player in the NBA right now.
Think about it. Jamal Murray went down.
Right.
And look
That's
what
true.
he's doing.
Is Murray going to come back for the playoffs? I haven't heard anything about that.
No. He tore his ACL. He's done.
Oh, he's done. He's done. Okay.
We're not talking about the Knicks just yet, but Knicks made a statement against the Clippers yesterday. Clippers are just not that great. They're not going to do. the damage that everyone thinks that they may do.
The Clippers, they show up when they want to, and they sit down when they want to. It's a weird team. It's like Doc Rivers never left. Starters play whenever they want to. Paul George is a fraud, as he always was. They again, when playoff time comes around, they'll play, but I don't think that they're the real deal. Kawhi's a beast. Don't get it wrong. He's a great player, but they play when they want to, and they don't when they don't have to.
You know who you have to look out for is Dallas. I think Dallas might surprise some people.
Well,
Dallas might make some
Luka and
noise.
Porzingis, I think they might surprise some people.
Remember, one more, technical, and Luka has to sit out for a game or two, right?
Yeah.
He might be better off getting a technical now.
Now, right.
Than
right.
sitting out in the second, one of these last two games.
That's what I'm trying to say, yeah.
But does it not reset in the playoffs?
I don't know. That's a good question. If does it reset in the playoffs? Interesting.
I think it might reset on some level.
I'm not really sure.
I don't think you can get your. Was it 15 now?
15 techs?
Yeah, is it 15 technicals and it's a suspension?
I remember someone got suspended in the playoffs, and I'm pretty sure it didn't. I'm pretty sure it carried over. I just don't remember who it was.
Well, you can definitely get suspended in the playoffs, but I don't think you can pick up the technical in the regular season and be forced to sit out of game one of the playoffs. I think into the playoffs where Luka gets a technical in the playoffs and then can get suspended, but I don't think that he could pick up his technical in the last game of the regular season and then be forced to be suspended for game one of the playoffs.
I'm not sure how that works. But
yeah, he might, and then he could contest. The players' union might fight that. Maybe might be one of those sort of things. But
him and Porzingis, look out for them. I mean,
no doubt.
Forget about Porzingis, but he's still 7'3", inside-outside player. He can give Jokic a run for his money on offense and defense. I agree. I don't know. Verdict's still out for me on Gobert. I don't know why. I just not a huge fan.
Well, to me, it's going to come down as far as the Western Conference. Just who can guard Jokic, who can stop Lillard, who could stop the real high scoring guys, because those are the guys who are going to dominate. I have the brackets up right now. This is the standings as of now, how the playoffs will look with the season ended today. I mean, we've got some pretty delicious matchups, if you ask me. I mean, this 4-5 matchup against Denver and Dallas is just that's
incredible, and that can go either way.
That
especially
screams
with Murray down, Dallas can easily take that, and there goes that whole Denver going all the way prediction.
Exactly. I think that's a good one. Once again, Miami playing Milwaukee. Who knows? It could pull an upset again like they did last year. You never know. Although Milwaukee's been playing a little better right now. But no matter what, and it pains me to say it, I don't think anyone can stop Embiid and the Sixers right now. I think they're playing consistently, and they're not backing down. They're not resting guys. They're just playing the season out. They're like, all right, we got to keep playing. We got to keep balling at a high level. Whereas Brooklyn and other teams, are resting guys. But I don't think anyone can guard Embiid. First off, there's no one can body him up. The
only one that's going to hurt Philly is Philly. Philly's just really healthy. I was talking about this with someone yesterday. No one can stop them right now. Brooklyn is just too inconsistent. They're not healthy. You never know who's going to play on Brooklyn. I don't even know if Brooklyn's going to get out of the second round right now.
So the thing is with the Sixers, not to interrupt you real quick, Simmons has to start scoring more than 8 points a game. We're relying too much on the guys that don't score at all. We're relying on Thibault, who's a good defensive presence, and that's what he is. Danny Green, who's okay, but we need more from Ben. That's what it comes down to. I get it. He doesn't shoot. That's fine. I don't care. We're past that point. Put the ball in the net. That's it. Go for the dunk. I don't care. Embiid's going to give you 29 to 35, easy, sleeping. What scares me is Tobias Harris. He he's been having a knee injury the past month or something like that, where he's been sitting out. That's a good 30 points a game that we need from him. Need. There is no he can't do it. We need that. And if Simmons puts up, between 15 and 20, we're set. We're set because he's good for almost a triple-double every game.
Right.
So that's where it's going to come down to. We're going to play D. We're going to do what we have to do. But if we run into a shooting team, this is going to sound stupid, but I'm just letting you know, Atlanta can shoot the ball. We can beat Atlanta. Don't get me wrong. We whooped them. But again, in the playoffs, it's a different animal.
Right.
A shooting team, whereas though that they could shoot from anywhere. Trae Young, Huter, even what's his name, John Collins. They could shoot the ball from anywhere. So that's a scary team in my eyes because I know how the Sixers play. They play by the book, and if something bends a certain kind of way, and it will, because I had the Sixers beating Toronto the other year.
Right.
And that Kawhi shot killed me. Oh my God. I don't know who cried more, me or Joel. But, yeah. Like I said, I hope it's the Sixers year, but again, when everything falls too much in your favor, something's bound to go wrong. And that's just me being from Philly.
Right.
That's,
Understandable. Well, now, Andrew, he's talking about Atlanta, who's probably going to play the Knicks in the first round. It's probably going to be the 4 or 5 matchup.
Which is the one team that scares me in the first round for the Knicks to play.
Right.
Trae Young scares me. He's
a beast. He's a beast.
He's
so underrated.
I think the Knicks can handle Boston. I'm not worried about anyone.
Well, you saw Jaylen Brown's out for the year now.
Right.
I don't even
think. So they're done, if you ask me.
I'm not even so worried about Milwaukee. Milwaukee just folds in the playoffs. They put Randall on Giannis, slow him down. Listen, you can't stop him, but you can contain him. The rest of the Milwaukee team does not scare me. The Knicks are just playing great, and like I said, you don't know who's going to show up in Brooklyn, but the Sixers and the Hawks to me are the two scary teams for the Knicks.
Well, this is what I like about the Knicks. I like, especially last night, how when Randall didn't have a good game, and Bullock and Barrett showed up last night, and played well. I mean, Bullock played like 44, 45 minutes last night. It was crazy, Randall just didn't have it last night. The other guys stepped up and played well. So it shows me how Tibbs says, okay, someone isn't having a good night, I got to ride another horse. And that's, to me, that's a good coach. That's why Tibbs is hand down, mic drop the coach of the year. Don't even fight me on that. Really, that's what I say. But it's just that I think defensively, Tibbs will come up with a plan to stop Atlanta. He knows that Young is the threat, and the other guys, he's gonna let the other guys try to beat us. And I don't think they can. Trae Young's the only guy that can beat the Knicks, and I think between what the Knicks have in their starting lineup, and if D Rose is getting the minutes that he's getting and playing at the level he's playing right now, I think the Knicks will prevail in that series. But as I said,
the signing of a lifetime. I can't believe the second go around after everything that happened with Derrick Rose during the Jackson years when he went AWOL and refused to come to report to a game.
That's crazy.
Decide to bring him back, and the way he's been playing has just been phenomenal.
It's coaching. It's got to be coaching.
But then you stop and you think, what happened with the Timberwolves when he was over there? What happened with Cat? Look what Julius Randle's doing. What can Cat not do what Randle's doing?
Right.
I thought Cat's a beast, but the way
Cat's been injured for a lot of the year.
Well, no, I'm talking about when Thibodeau was over there.
Oh. And what's interesting also, I think Jimmy Butler did not like playing for Thibodeau.
Yeah.
No.
He forced his way out of Minnesota because of Thibodeau.
Well, it's just too damn cold in Minnesota. I mean, come on. You want to wear a tank top in Minnesota? Think about Why the hell do you think Kevin Garnett wanted to get the hell? Kevin Garnett played better in Boston once he got the hell out of there.
Rose played with Towns in Kentucky, right? Was that Kentucky? Or was that Memphis?
No, Rose did not play.
Rose is from Memphis. Rose went to Memphis, played 1 year on their.
Who played with Towns? I remember Towns had like two good teammates over there that also made.
I don't remember that.
I forget.
Probably a bunch of those one and doners that came out of Kentucky, you know, those type of things, you know. I think, you know, the NBA is so interesting right now because, you know, everyone's talking about Westbrook and his triple doubles and this and that. But, you know, I mean, even with him and the way Bradley Beal play, why is Washington not better than they are? You know, it's like you've got two amazing players, but Washington's what, an 8 and 9 seed, something like that. You know, so the NBA is very unpredictable. I mean, we always say in the end, the cream rises in the playoffs, you know, but I really think there's going to be more first round upsets than ever before this year. I really watch some of the lower seeds, you know, watch Portland, defense, Nate, exactly. Watch Portland, watch Dallas, as we talked about. You know, watch Miami. You know, who knows? It's going to come down. You know, it's going to be fun to watch. It really is. You know.
I got a random question as you just brought up Westbrook's triple doubles, and Julius Randle's had a number of them this year. What's become less exciting, a no hitter or a triple double?
Oh, triple double,
and that's sad.
Because I remember in the '90s, if a player got a triple double, it was, you know, front page news.
Think about this, right? As many triple doubles as Russ Westbrook has, is he even in the MVP conversation?
No.
Not even close.
That answers your question.
Right.
Not even close. It's crazy. Triple double doesn't matter.
He just tied Oscar Robertson.
But you know what else? The thing about Westbrook's triple doubles is you also have to look at his turnovers because he probably had quite a few quadruple doubles.
So then it's a quadruple double.
It's not the right one. I know David Robinson has a legit quadruple double. I'm not sure if someone has had one since, but I know that David Robinson. I think Olajuwon's done it also with blocks. I know Robinson and Olajuwon have done it. I'm not sure if it's done since, but they have legit quadruple doubles.
But what tells you about Russell Westbrook is, listen, I admire him. He's a great player, but you can't be a ball hog in this league now. That's what it comes down to. He listen, why couldn't it work out when he was in OKC? Because he wanted the ball more than Durant and Harden. That's just what happens. And
there
you can't.
Only 4 players with quadruple doubles in NBA history.
So I think in this day and age, you need a team. You can't just have one guy, and that's what it's going to come down to. And I feel bad because we're going to waste his career, which should, you know, if he played in the '90s, he would have a couple of rings.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I mean, and it shows, as Andrew said about the '90s, it shows how much the game has changed, and then with the way they call the game, the way the game is played. I mean, you know, you remember then if a team scored 100 points in the '90s, it was a miracle. Well, remember all those NBA Finals games that were like 80s, you know, low 90s, mid 90s once in a while. I mean, I think that one game Jordan hit 6 threes. The Bulls actually scored like over 100 points. I mean, it's crazy how the game has just gotten so. It just played differently. You know, the big man is not what it used to be back in the day. It's just nuts.
But they also played more defense back then. Whereas though now it's more soft.
I remember going to games as a kid, and it took me maybe like 8 games to finally get to experience a 100-point game. Every time I always wanted to see a 100-point game. You know, it never happened. These games were always in the 80s and the 90s. And, you know, coming back to this quadruple double stat, the last one to happen was in 1994.
Wow. Who was that?
David Robinson.
David Robinson.
Wow. Yeah. 34, 10, 10, and 10.
Wow. One of the best.
He just got it.
Yeah, he just got it. Now, we're going to go a little further back. Hakeem Olajuwon, 18, 10, 16 rebounds, and 11 blocks.
Wow. That's crazy.
That was in 1990. He actually did it twice, though. He did it twice in the same month. This is crazy. He did it twice in the same month of March 1990. You want to talk about a crazy stat? 29 points, 18 rebounds, 10 assists, and 11 blocks.
Wow.
That's insane. That's insane. Yeah. Just to think about, you know. It was funny. Speaking of old school basketball, Felix, I was on Just Say the Truth Wednesday. I was filling in, and we were talking a little bit about Westbrook and about the nature of the point guard. And I said, to me, point guards were like old school guys, like Dennis Johnson. And then I said, and Maurice Cheeks. So you remember Maurice Cheeks from back in the day, man, right? Mo Cheeks was He was the man. He was the man.
He was. Yeah.
You know,
I just feel bad. I wish he was a part of this coaching staff. I mean, he was at one point, but I mean, he was a beast back then. I feel as though that was a wasted career too, for the most part. He could have been so much better.
I'm actually getting together with one of the best of the '90s tomorrow.
Who you hanging out with Kenny tomorrow?
I'm hanging out with Kenny tomorrow. He's in town.
Nice. Andrew's friends with Kenny Anderson.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, cool.
I'm going to see him tomorrow.
Cool. Tell Kenny we got to get him on the show one time, man.
He'll do it.
All right. Yeah, we got Kenny.
He's doing Dwayne Wade's show as we speak.
Oh, his podcast?
Yeah, he's doing
nice.
That's why he's down here. He's doing Dwayne Wade.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, tell Kenny we got to get him on the show. That'd be dope. That'd be very cool. All right, well, we'll see what happens this last week of the NBA, and then we'll have much more NBA to talk about next week for sure. All right, let's move on to some football. I want to play a little game called Start, Bench, and Cut. So I'm going to give you a sequence of 3 guys. You can start one, bench one, and cut one. All right. Let's start off with quarterbacks. Joe Montana, Tom Brady, John Elway. Who you starting, who you benching, who you cutting? Felix, you go first.
I got to start Brady. I'm benching Montana. I'm cutting Elway.
Oh.
That's exactly what I was going with. That was too easy.
Really?
It was too easy. Come on.
I mean, I know Montana's one. Obviously you're starting Brady, but to me, I don't know. I mean, Elway was so mobile in the pocket, and even though he didn't win as many Super Bowls, but something about Elway, a little physical for me. I might bench him and cut Montana. I don't know why.
Montana
a little bit.
Until Brady, Montana was the greatest quarterback of all time.
I know.
The conversation is benching and cutting Brady. I'm benching and starting Montana and Brady. That's it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I have a sore spot for Montana, I guess, just because he never lost. So maybe because
he never lost, and
you don't appreciate greatness. I get it.
I guess not. I don't appreciate greatness. You got to suck a little bit for me to like it.
It's amazing. You want to cut a guy who never lost.
Yes, I do, and wow. I stand by
it. Think about it. Hold on, stop and let that sink in.
I know.
Let that sink in.
Elway's lost quite a lot. He didn't win until his last 2 years of his career.
But I guess it makes me appreciate the fact that he won more. That he had to really get there. It wasn't like I won and won and won and won.
But does Joe Montana? I will say this. I'll give this to y'all. Does Joe Montana do what he did without Jerry Rice and Dwight Clark?
No, of course not.
Okay, so I will give you.
Yeah, but does Elway do that without Terrell Davis?
No, that's how he won. Once he had a running game, he won.
There's a difference. Hold on, there's a difference. You named the running back, where I just named a receiver and a tight end. So all of Montana's
Davis caught the ball too. Davis caught the ball too.
He did.
But think about this. How successful was he once Davis got hurt?
Well, but also don't forget, Elway didn't have a lot. Elway had Rod
Shannon
Smith.
Shannon
Sharp.
And
Rod Smith. Ed
McCaffrey. He had a lot.
So you can't. You just named Jerry Rice. Okay, the best receiver ever.
Right.
And Dwight Clark. He a good tight end.
Well, that play is one of the greatest plays in the history of NFL.
Oh, okay,
right.
Okay, but I'm giving you one of the best running backs ever.
Okay.
I'm giving you Rod Smith, who played 15 solid years. Ed McCaffrey, he's a solid receiver as well. And they had good D.
Yeah.
They did.
I'm trying to think. I can't go back now. They had Champ Bailey, I believe, when they won.
No, Bailey was later. Bailey
was later.
03.
I'm trying. I remember Steve Atwater. I'm trying to think.
Wasn't Shannon Sharp on Denver?
Shannon was on those teams.
Shannon
was on those teams.
Shannon too. Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, that's just me. I think it's
Bill Romanowski.
Romanowski's on that team.
Oh my God. Wow. Don't let him watch this show. Wow.
No, definitely not. He'll come after us for sure. He's insane. That guy's insane. Oh, wow. Very cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about running backs. All right, 3 Hall of Famers. Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, or Walter Payton? Andrew, you go first.
Well, I got to cut Barry Sanders just because of how he went out. I know you're probably thinking I'm crazy. But the way Barry Sanders cut his career short, I gotta go to the other guys. So first of all, you gotta keep sweetness. Walter Payton is the greatest of all time. So I gotta start sweetness. I would give it to Barry Sanders if he didn't go out the way he did, but Emmitt Smith was the king of the '90s, more so than Barry Sanders. You know, as a Dallas Cowboy, all the Super Bowls, all the records, all the time. I mean, Emmitt Smith over Barry Sanders, in my opinion, and then Walter Payton over Emmitt Smith.
All right, Felix, your rebuttal.
I'm just trying to gather my thoughts real quick. Wow. So I'm starting Barry Sanders, who put up all those amazing numbers with the Lions. He had nobody. I'm benching Peyton. I watched film. I never saw him. You know, obviously, you know, I'm only 35. I haven't seen him, you know, live, but I saw film. I appreciate that. But what we just talked about between Elway and Montana, what did Emmitt have? He had Aikman. He had Irvin.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with his running stats?
He had Sanders.
What does that have to do with his running stats? Nothing. Aikman handed him the ball.
You got to double Irvin. You got to double. Dion played offense too. And you had Aikman. Barry had nobody. Barry was running by himself.
Barry Sanders, to me, quit.
He did because they couldn't put a team around him. They didn't want to pay anybody.
And that's solely why I said I'm going to cut him. I solely said that's the reason why.
You can't, like, I can't do that, because if a running back's giving you that much loyalty, putting up those kinds of numbers, and you don't want to pay him, or you don't want to get people around him, then you got to trade him. I mean, he gave the Lions everything he could. He was only going to go downhill from there, and they didn't want to trade him, so he retired. That's the only thing he could have done, because if he kept playing behind that line, we're saying, oh, his career got cut short because he got hurt.
Right.
They did not do anything for him. Anything. That's why he's my number one, because Emmitt had the world. Emmitt had Irvin, a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aikman, who I don't believe it should be a Hall of Famer, but he is. Deion Sanders, and they committed to putting a team around him. And let's not talk about their linemen.
Oh, their offensive line was insane.
Larry Allen. I mean, yeah. It would be a shame if he didn't make the Hall of Fame. So in my eye, and hey, I get it. I'm an Eagles fan. I get it. I don't like the Cowboys, but Barry's better than him, hands down. You put him, if you put Emmitt back there where the Lions were, he'd be dead meat.
Nice. Well, if you look at the numbers, you know, Emmitt's the all-time leading rusher. You know, Peyton's 2, Frank Gore is 3, but people have said Frank Gore has been a compiler, so you know, I don't know about that.
He's still playing.
Yeah, and then Barry is 4th with 15,269 yards, but divide that by how many years he played, which wasn't many, and his average. I mean, yeah, to me, Barry Sanders is the greatest of all time. My father would say Jim Brown was, because but my dad's real old school.
So you're saying Barry Sanders over Walter Payton?
By not much, yeah, not much.
Okay.
I would take Sanders. I don't know. I liked Sanders' game a little bit more than Payton. You know, I mean, it's hard because they're all three are all timers.
Oh.
But about Felix's point, I like Felix's point with the you know, Emmitt had you know, a freaking wall in front of him. You know, we could have gained yards with that offensive line.
I will admit I was a little biased because 1997 Jets Lions, it was the Jets' best opportunity at doing some real damage, and the Lions single-handedly cost the Jets the season.
Oh, now the truth comes out. Now the truth comes out.
All right. So apparently this person, Dark Sage, has a question for the panel. It is sports related, but not necessarily about present day sports. All right. Well, you're more than welcome to write your question, Dark Sage, and we'll be more than happy to answer it. when it comes up. I think you're watching us on Twitch. Wow, that's pretty crazy. All right, cool. So when that question comes up, we will watch. We will see what the answer is.
9117.
Yes. Okay.
I'm guessing you were born in 91.
Yes.
So
maybe he likes Chris Mullin.
Yes, maybe he likes Chris Mullin. Exactly. All right. Here's an interesting question. Okay, wide receivers: Larry Fitzgerald, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to go first?
I want you to go first.
So Owens is a head case.
Yes.
Okay. You cannot bench him. So just based off of that, because he's going to destroy your team because that's what he did to the Eagles.
Right. I'm
starting Moss. I'm benching Fitz, and I'm cutting Owens. And that's just because I know the team won't survive if he's on the bench. I mean, that's just reality. I mean, the proof is right there. So
right.
you cannot deny Moss. Moss is a beast. He's an all-timer. He deserves everything. And what the Raiders did to him is shameful because he could have had even more stats. And I wish he would have went to Green Bay. I wish they would have traded for him. But it is what it is. You got to go with Moss. You got to go with Larry and T.O. Yeah, he's a beast. Don't get me wrong, but he's also a head case.
Oh, interesting. All right, before we get to Andrew's point, Andrew, this is actually a good question for you that Dark Sage has about memorabilia. Andrew is a memorabilia expert, Dark Sage, and Andrew would actually be a good person to answer this question. So go ahead, Andrew. Go ahead and chime in on this.
I mean, a ball like that is only going to appreciate in value. I'm going to assume it's not authenticated if he just found it in his grandfather's collection. But if he can get that authenticated, unless he needs the money, that ball is only going to appreciate.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever he can get today, he'll get more next year, and he'll get more the following year, and just continue.
Hopefully, it's real.
Yeah.
If it start by send it into PSA, get it authenticated.
Explain what PSA is?
PSA is an authentication service. It's the leader in the industry. And send it into especially for vintage baseball. Send it into them. If your family needs the money, you'll get a pretty penny for it. I'm not going to quote a dollar amount on the air, but if not, if it's just a found treasure, hold on to it, save it, give it to your kids. It's a ball like that is Hall of Fame worthy if it's truly authentic. Listen, we also need to see. I can look at that ball and I'm not going to authenticate it, but depends on the clarity of the signatures. It depends on the yellowing of the ball. A lot of those balls were also shellacked. So, I mean, if Dark Sage wants to chime in a little bit on the condition of the ball, is it shellacked? Is over the signature? How faded is the ink? Who signed the sweet spot? If Cal signed the sweet spot, it's going to be worth a whole lot more. So there's a lot of various factors of what's going to drive that ball's value. But again, if you don't need the money, I would hold it. It's not going down in value. I'll say that.
All right, cool. Thank you, Dark Sage, for that question, man. And if you need any other help, feel free to reach out to the network. We'd be more than happy to help you out. All right, Andrew. So who are you doing on the wide receivers?
I want to throw a twist into this one rather than just agree to what Felix said, because that's also to me an easy one. Let's just remove Randy Moss and Fitzgerald. You have to keep Owens or Chad Johnson. and we'll throw in Keyshawn Johnson as well.
Oh, I'd cut Keyshawn.
Okay.
It's Owens without a doubt. Owens is starting no matter what.
Yeah.
Ocho was a beast.
Yeah, but he didn't have no matter how crazy Owens was, Owens is a Hall of Fame numbers. You got to give it to Owens. Has got the numbers no matter what.
Okay. You think Owens is crazy? I read he said something maybe a couple years ago, and it just stayed with me because this guy's nuts. Chad Johnson said he used to take Viagra before games because he said no one could stop him on three legs.
That's insane.
I don't want him on my team. I'll take anybody else. No, I don't need. Oh
I loved it when they finally. I wish they got together sooner, but when they were on Cincinnati together, that was a fun year.
Oh, him and Hushmanzada?
Yeah. No, him and Owens. When him and Owens were together.
Oh yeah. I forgot. Yeah. After Buffalo, he went to Cincinnati. Yeah, that's right.
That was insane. That was absolutely nuts. Wow. All right. Let's go to the defense. Mike Singletary, Ray Lewis, or Junior Seau. We're talking about 3 all-time middle linebackers. What do you say?
That's a tough one. That might be the first toughest one.
Yeah, I was trying to find pairings that weren't like the obvious, but obviously, it was obvious.
You're also going different decades there.
Right, exactly.
That's Ray Lewis is a monster. I mean, he's the scariest down the middle.
Murderer.
What's that?
Murderer.
He wasn't found guilty.
Well, no, but allegedly, that's why I'm going like that.
Allegedly. OJ allegedly too,
OJ
right?
allegedly, yeah.
It's crazy how he turned his career around from the year 2000 to how he's viewed now. Because that whole case is completely forgotten about. And when he retired as just one of the greatest linebackers of all time.
He's a beast. I mean, but he also had a defense around him.
He did.
Linebacker, yeah. So I mean, it's hard.
That's a tough one. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not so familiar with Singletary stats. I'm familiar with Lewis and Seau stats, and I remember Seau was just the king of the 90s. I'm not gonna cut someone just because I couldn't fairly pick one. I would say that I would start Lewis though. I think Lewis is over the other two for sure. But no disrespect to Seau or Singletary, so I'm not gonna just cut one.
All right. It's funny. Singletary was like the captain of those Bears defensive teams of the 80s, especially that 86 team, the Bears. He was the man running the show in the middle, he goes, I want winners. That was him,
It was all Ditka. It was all Ditka.
I know. Well, it was Ditka's defense, but Singletary was the captain on the field. So,
remember when he was the coach, he pantsed. He went into the locker room and took his pants down.
Yes, he did.
Remember that?
I do remember that.
It might not all be Ditka's.
You guys obviously would remember the famous The Bears skit on Saturday.
Yeah, of course.
And then the famous question was, who would win, Ditka versus God?
No, Ditka.
But God is Ditka.
I know. It's crazy. I mean, honestly, I would start Singletary just because I just respected his game so much. Lewis and Seau was tough. Seau did a lot with nothing in San Diego. I mean, he didn't hardly have the players around him that Ray Lewis did. Ray Lewis was, the captain of that great defense that had, Ed Reed and all those guys. So, I would probably give the nod to Lewis just because of that, but it'd be a tough call for me,
Seau went out, when he went to Miami, he kind of, let his career people a little bit. Lewis did not go out like that. Singletary did not go out like that.
No, true.
But for those few years in the 90s, Seau was the best.
No, he was. What about you, Felix?
I'm starting Ray, benching Seau and cutting Singletary. Just because the way the game is now, if we're doing this in this day and age, obviously, I don't know if Singletary could play in this day and age.
Yeah. Physically, yeah. Physically. Mm-hmm.
It's a whole new game. You can't hit the quarterback the way you used to. So, but to be completely fair, the way Ray used to hit the quarterback, you can't do that either. But I saw Ray play. I saw that defense play. You gave them 10 points and you won the game.
Yeah.
They're not scoring. So, exactly. In my eyes, Ray's probably one of the best middle linebacker I've ever seen.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. All right. This next one, it might be obvious, but it might not be. Okay. I grouped together 3 amazing rushers who had a crap ton of sacks. Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, and Bruce Smith, all three dominant defensive players.
Jeez, that's another
I mean,
tough one.
LT was my guy, but Reggie White was the man coming off the edge, and Bruce Smith was the man coming off the edge. So, Felix, I might know the way you lean a little bit, but I want to hear you first.
I'm so mad the Eagles let him go. Oh my God, he would have been. I can't even, because they didn't want to pay him. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But you got to go Reggie to start. I'm gonna go with Lawrence Taylor to bench because how can I put it? I saw him so much, sacking so many Eagle quarterbacks. It's sort of like, wow, I can't cut him. And Bruce Smith, he's a beast, don't get me wrong. But, again, he played in a division where you play the Jets, you play the Pats back in the day, and Miami.
Yeah.
And Miami. So, don't get me wrong, he's a beast. But I got to go with the two NFC East guys.
Right. Well, you know how many times Randall Cunningham would jump over Lawrence Taylor too, remember?
I remember.
There's at least 2 or 3 plays that stick out in my head. I remember, Taylor's running Cunningham down. I'm like, all right, he's got him. Then Cunningham kind of looks at him like, nope, and he's gone.
Wow.
I'm just like, what? But as we can never forget when Taylor when he ended Joe Theismann's career. That was
he killed. Yeah, he killed.
That was brutal. All right, Andrew, what about you, man?
I mean, the same. It's interesting though how close Smith and Taylor's stats are, except in Super Bowls. Taylor's got 2. Smith was just unfortunately on those Buffalo teams that couldn't. They went 4 times, but they just couldn't win. But their stats are very similar, from Pro Bowls to All Pro selections. Lawrence, people still, when they talk about rushers, everyone talks about Lawrence Taylor as one of the best. Forget his off the field issues. People don't really talk about Bruce Smith. His name just doesn't come up in the same conversation. And what was it, Reggie White?
Yeah.
What he did in Philly, but Green Bay doesn't do what they do in the mid-'90s without him over there. On defense, it's him on defense, Brett Favre on offense. He was. Do you
guys think Lawrence could play in this day and age?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Physically, yes, but with the drug testing program, he never get day one.
I'm talking about the hits. I'm talking about how he hits players.
He'll just take penalties.
He couldn't hit guys the way he used to, but I think he would cause enough static and fear on the line. Like when J.J. Watt was healthy, his first couple of years, when he was like, when people would just be like, watch for J.J., they'd be like, watch for Lawrence. And they'd have to have a guy specifically just to watch him, which would deter the offense. But he couldn't lay out guys the way he used to. No way.
He could still rush the line and do whatever he wants to do until the quarterback releases the ball.
Exactly. The thing about Reggie was so creative inside the line. Reggie would line up in the edge, but Reggie could line up at the tackle position too. I remember the times there was him and I think it was Clyde. Was it Clyde Simmons was the guy who played on the field? Yeah, him and Simmons would almost switch sides just to throw the offense off. Remember that. You
also have a drug addict and a guy who served prison in the same debate with a pastor.
Yeah, exactly. Go figure. Yeah. Go figure. All right, one more quick one, and I'm not sure where this one's going to end up. This is just a couple of tight ends, all like three of the top tight ends with numbers and everything like that. Crazy Gronk, Travis Kelce, who's not the traditional tight end, and Tony Gonzalez, who kind of broke the mold of tight ends and became kind of the slash tight end wide receiver. So, let's start with Andrew. What are you doing with the tight ends?
I'm gonna go with Gonzo first, just because he set the pace for Gronkowski to do what he did next. Gronkowski also has had Brady, but he's just had so many injuries throughout his career.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey's just not there yet. Kelsey's great. He's probably the best today, but I'm gonna go Tony Gonzalez. He's one of the greatest tight ends of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm sure of numbers off the top of my head. I'm not sure if he's the all-time touchdown receiver at the tight end position. So I don't want to quote that, but I know he's up there. So I'm going to start him. I'm going to bench Gronk and cut Kelsey.
Yeah, Gonzalez is all time in yards. Witten is second. Antonio Gates is third in yards.
Who's in touchdowns?
It's not telling me. I'll have to look at that. I'll look at that in a minute. All right, Felix, let me hear from you. I'm gonna look up the stat.
I basically agree. You can't deny Tony Gonzalez. I mean, he played on those Chiefs teams that were good and bad, and it was crazy back then. And then once he got to
Atlanta,
you're like, oh yeah, he's definitely gonna get a ring. And sad, but it never. I heard the same thing about Allen Iverson. He's great in Philly, and then once he goes somewhere else, he'll win a ring, and he never ended up winning anything. But I'm gonna go with Tony. I got to go with Gronk as well. Gronk, I'm going to bench Gronk. He's a beast. And Kelsey, he's good. But again, like I saw him, struggle in the Super Bowl.
And you could replace Witten with Kelsey. I think that would make an interesting debate.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna cut Kelsey just because.
He's just not there. He's just not there yet, right?
Yeah. Maybe at the end of his career, if I, look at his stats, maybe somewhere down the line. But again, and I know Tony Gonzalez wasn't paid like these guys are paid back in the day. So it just shows you his commitment to the Chiefs.
Right. And he was a basketball player too, if you guys remember. Yeah.
And listen, we could have also thrown in there Gates, like you said. Garoppolo, not Garoppolo, Jimmy Graham was an incredible tight end for many years in New Orleans.
Yeah, but he wasn't as consistent. He should have been. Jimmy Graham should have been a lot better than he was. That's for sure.
He fell apart once he got to Seattle.
Yeah. Once he left, he fell apart.
Yeah, Gonzalez is hands down.
Gates was phenomenal.
Oh, Antonio, he was my fantasy go-to guy for years in fantasy football. Antonio Gates was definitely the guy.
He's really underrated. Just based off if you're talking about tight ends, you don't go to him in the first three. You might get him in the top five.
Right.
But he's one of these guys that you just think about later on.
Exactly.
Did you find the stat of all time?
Yeah. Gonzalez is number one with 111, and then Gronk is second with 80. So it's not even close.
Right.
It's not even close. And Gronk maybe has one more year in him physically, if that. So it's not even close.
And Gonzalez could block.
Yes, he could. He could. He definitely could.
The other two can't.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. And again, that's the change of the game. How we've talked about running backs. How running backs have become dispensable, and you can pick guys up in the second, third round, and this and that. So yeah, it's true. Very true. All right. Well, last chance to bring it, boys. I have something interesting I want to talk about, so I'm going to go first. I want to talk about horse racing today. Yes, we're talking about horse racing.
I thought you were starting the show off with that. I got your text message.
No, I wanted to save it. I wanted to save it till the end, man. Save it till the end.
They're juicing.
There's horses that are juicing. Bob Baffert, who is the leading trainer in all of horse racing, is going down with the horse. As they say, he's going to the glue factory, if you will.
Wow!
I'm sorry, that was terrible.
Wow!
But the point is, this whole thing is crazy because this horse could get stripped of it. Baffert could be like banned from racing and all this stuff. It's just crazy. To see to see the way this story has blown up. Baffert's had a couple other issues I read about, and other horses that have had medical issues and things like that. But for a steroid case for a champion horse, for him to possibly lose the title, not be able to race in these other Triple Crown races, Baffert could be out of the game for a while. It could change horse racing just because, the same way steroids change baseball, the same way it's performance enhancing change football and this like that. It's definitely a game changer in this sport, if you ask me. So I mean, I'm not a big horse racing guy, but I do follow the big major races, and it just kind of hit me like, wow, this is kind of a really big deal. So Yeah, let's this horse, is going to go up there with A-Rod and Roger Clemens now.
I gotta ask you a question. The guy, you can lead a horse to steroids, but can you force the horse to take the steroids?
Exactly. You've been sitting on that one all day, haven't you?
Yes.
Well, the horse has to say no. You know what I mean?
I had that one in my back pocket for you.
You did. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's too funny. All right, Felix, what you got for me last thing?
So everything's working out for the Sixers. They're playing well. They're going to get the number 1 seed, and that's all fun and games. Please manage Joel's minutes properly. Please. Without him, we're not winning squat. We're not winning anything. That being said, I want to thank who took Wiggins? That was Minnesota,
State.
right?
Oh, drafted him with Minnesota.
Yeah. Thank you, Minnesota, for not taking Joel. And then I believe who took Jabari? That was the Bucks.
Milwaukee. Yeah, Milwaukee took him.
Thank you, Milwaukee, for not taking Joe. Can you imagine Joel and the Greek Freak on the same team?
Wow.
Can you imagine that? So
it'd be like Robinson and Duncan again. It'd be like that.
I'm getting distracted, but Phillies. I mean Sixers. Please. This is our year. We have a shot. The Lakers aren't nowhere in the picture. The Nuggets are hurting. We could beat the Jazz. This is our year. Don't mess it up, please.
All right, Andrew, bring us home.
I won't bring us home. I'm just going to say this. At this point, win or lose in the first round, this has been the most exciting next season in over 20 years, probably since 98. I don't even care about the team in 2012 or 2015 when they had the 50 plus win season for the first time in a while. This has just been the most exciting Knicks team to watch. Even if they lose a game, they're just fun to watch from the opening tip. They take care of every possession, and it's just fun. And if they get swept in the first round, you know what? They get swept. But this has been the best since the 90s for a Knicks fan to watch.
Awesome. Very, very cool. All right, well, we will see everybody next week. I want to thank Nate for producing the show. Thanks, Nate, for doing everything in the background. You're the man. And Nate's our big tech guy at the network. He does some of his own shows to us. He does a baseball show. He does a podcast called Sports Status. So check his stuff out. And, we got Real Talk coming up next. So we will see everybody next week. We are out.
Later.